This is the Dull Man's Podcast, the podcast for dull men
and women
who get excited about dull things.
Welcome to another Dull Man's Podcast. This, I believe, Deech, is episode 18, because I've been counting them, not including our pilots, of course.
So that would be the 21st episode. Is that right? Because we did 3 pilots.
We did 3 pilots.
To find out if we can get it right.
This is...
Just try anyway.
We only thought we'd get to 8.
But we got, I know, it's incredible, isn't it? 18. Yeah. But there we go. And I am joined in the studio for number 18 by Sarah Steele. Hello, Sarah.
Good morning, Dave.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Well, I'm very well. I've just come back from a few days in France.
You've been on a writing retreat.
I've been on a writing retreat. It's been amazing. I've been in the Alps in this beautiful chalet.
If that's not a good excuse for a holiday, I don't know what is.
It wasn't a holiday.
Yeah. You're going to tell us you worked really hard. So
I was there for 4 days. I wrote 19,500 words.
Oh, that is quite impressive.
Yeah.
But did they make any sense?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
well, to me, but that's why one has an editor.
I thought you were going to say you wrote 19 and a half words.
No, I also ate about 19.5 kilos of cheese.
Oh,
so
did you have a raclette?
We had a tartiflette, and it was just cheese with everything.
God, this is very Islington, isn't it?
Tartiflette.
Tartiflette, yeah.
Tartiflette.
People are going to stop.
Garçon, can I have a tartiflette?
Have you never had tartiflette?
No, but I've had a raclette.
Okay, so tartiflette is just potatoes, cooked potatoes, baked in a pan with cheese, bacon, onion,
great,
and then a massive block of reblochon cheese on top. Bang it in the oven, and it's just carbs and heart attack all the time.
I've eaten a bacon and dairy sandwich. Is that similar?
Yeah, it's very similar.
Actually, that sounds like it shouldn't work, but probably does.
Give it a go.
Oh, and Deech, what have you been up to?
I'll tell you what. Well,
He's not been doing anything. He's a hesitation there.
I know.
He's
Quick, make something up.
Exactly. I've been just sitting in my basement.
I've been splitting
a highlight of my comedy career, Dave, was you coming to one of my gigs finally. So
you got an audience.
Yeah. He was 100. Thank you very much. He's smiling away.
Oh, 10 out of 10.
Oh, really? Does that push him into the top 700?
Well, he must be getting close to the top 700 now. Because a few more have probably died, haven't they? So
but other ones have been born and come into the circuit. So
this was great. Deech was hosting the whole gig. He was the compere.
Yeah.
Did you have a bow tie and like a frilly white shirt?
No. I always wear a claret shirt. That's my thing.
Claret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Claret shirt.
And trousers with a stripe down the side.
Yeah. Military.
Go faster.
Go faster. Yeah, I'm sponsored by Adidas.
But no, it was a thoroughly enjoyable gig.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good fun. Much better than the gig that I had done several days earlier, where no one showed up.
Ah, yeah, that would be a problem, wouldn't it?
No one.
Well, the stupid venue organised this event. They organised a comedy night. And it's like in a tiny little village, and they had a packed house, and it was great. And then it was so popular, they thought, we're going to do another one. So they organised another one, assuming that the same people would come back a week later for more comedy. No one is addicted to comedy that much that they will come back every week to see the same people. It was ridiculous. So we were just twiddling our thumbs.
Oh, really? So, because the one I came to was...
It was packed,
packed.
Yeah.
There were loads of people.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of... 120 people.
120.
Yeah.
It was... it was really good. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was, I was telling everybody what a marvellous podcaster Deech was, and they had to listen to the Dull Man's Podcast. Not forgetting to mention that I was in it too.
Well, yeah, because that would put people off, wouldn't it?
But the great thing was that you did a little award ceremony at the end. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I gave our favourite listener, Pete Hansen, the award of the Dull Man's Podcast Lifetime Achievement Award.
Because Pete, if you remember, was on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he invented a smell.
Yeah.
And was a fantastic contributor, so he got an award for it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I heard someone talking about the smell of gas the other day, and I thought, I've virtually met the man who invented that.
I know that geezer.
Yeah.
Dave has met him, and I've met him.
He was at the gig, and it was really good.
I feel like I missed out on a party now.
Well, if you will go sort of swanning off to France on a writing retreat, in inverted commas, then what do you expect?
Yeah. C'est la vie.
So what's coming up in today's show? Deech, what are you going to talk to us about?
I want to talk about jelly babies.
Oh, jelly babies.
Yeah. And their dark history.
They have a dark history.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, dear.
Oh, jelly baby's going to be dead to us.
Yeah, you're going to ruin them for
this.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it depends how macabre your appetite is.
Whoa, this
Sarah,
sounds like a book.
Sarah, what are you going to tell us about?
Dark and macabre. I'm going to talk about my understairs cupboard.
Oh, that's very dark and macabre.
Yeah, it is rather. Yeah. I went in there last night just to check it out.
Check it was still macabre.
It's bad.
And I'm going to talk to you about chopping wood, because surprisingly, it's quite a big thing. And now it's time for our favourite section of the show. It's feedback time. Yay!
We need a little jingle for that, don't we?
We do need a little jingle, don't we? Yeah. It's feedback time. It's feedback time. It's feedback time. There, is that all right?
Yeah, no.
Cockney that.
So we went all Dick Van Dyke.
It did, yeah.
I've been wanting to sing that for years.
Here, Governor, it's feedback time. Your chimneys ain't been swept that well.
Feedback time. Feedback time.
You got black lung, you got black lung, black lung, you got black lung.
Why am I laughing at that?
I don't know.
So it's feedback time, and feedback this week comes from a chap called Wayne. And Wayne, I happen to know, is an undertaker, which I think is a very interesting profession. Wayne sent in a bit of feedback because he heard your guide, Deech, to taking selfies.
Oh,
and so this is him.
With a dead body,
This is him trying to follow your instructions. So have a listen to this and see what you think.
Right, let me see if I can knock a selfie out. I've heard the podcast. I think I can do this. So, hold phone at arm's length.
Correct.
I can certainly do that. That's easy. Position face at a slight angle. At a slight angle. My face is round. It doesn't have angles. All right, we'll try it this way. Come on, Wayne.
He sounds like he's setting up one of his
Hold
buddies.
camera so bottom of phone is level with eyes. Christ, I'm glad I got my glasses on for this.
Yeah.
Right. Chin down, looking up at camera.
Go on, son.
Which chin? Let's do chin number 2. Right. One hand in your hair.
Yes.
I've got no hair. I'm bald as an egg. Jesus. All right, we'll try it this way. Tilt your head. Ooh. Maybe a bit too hard.
Steady on, son.
A little bit less. And do I want tongue? Yeah, let's do a bit of tongue. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, let's have a look at that.
So there you go. There's Wayne going through his selfie motions, so to speak. And we have that photograph. He sent us the photograph, the selfie, which we'll put on the socials so people can see it. And
Does he look better than we did in ours?
Well, certainly better than I did. I wouldn't want to speak for you two, but my effort was particularly awful. But well done, Wayne, for that.
It's like a public service broadcast, what we're doing.
I think it is, yeah, teaching people how to do stuff.
I think we should be on the national curriculum.
Yes. We could, now the BBC is obviously going downhill a bit, so perhaps we could take over from them, as the national.
To be educational, informative and entertaining.
Exactly. Move over, BBC.
The DMP.
It's time to let the Dull Man's podcast do your job.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get into the substance of the podcast. And Deech, I believe you are going to go first with you're going to tell us about jelly babies.
If you can work out how to use his new iPad.
Yeah, I've gone.
high tech.
What year are we in? 2021.
5.
And 2025. And so I'm now iPadded up. Let's see how I get on with this. I don't know if I'm too dull. So yeah, I've got my research in front of me. I'm like a proper person.
I'm wondering how much research can you do on jelly babies?
I don't know.
Jelly babies are jelly babies, surely.
Green ones, there's orange ones.
Red ones.
And they've each got names. Do you enjoy jelly babies?
Well, I've eaten them from time to time, and yes, I'm quite happy to eat them.
Okay. When would you guess they were made and around?
Well, invented, first jelly babies.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I bet they're really old, aren't they? I'm going to say 1936.
I'm going to go 21. 1921.
Yeah, not 2021. No, I'd even invented 4 years ago.
1421.
1864.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they were originally supposed to be teddy bears, like bears.
Right.
And they came out not really looking like bears, but they looked more like babies.
Right. So the moulding techniques weren't as sophisticated in those days, presumably.
Yeah, I guess so. I think they were a lot bigger. So they're supposed to be a lot bigger, and they cost a farthing.
Life size.
Take you a while to eat that, wouldn't it?
They actually don't know.
I'm just going to put it to bed.
They don't know how big they were. First of all, they're assuming that they were bigger actually, because they haven't got the mould, they haven't got any pictures of them. They were looking at the price point, which was a farthing, and they say that given that that's what they cost, they probably would have been much bigger for because you bought an individual one. You bought them.
Right, you didn't buy
Carve
back.
it.
Yeah.
That is macabre.
Carving up the jelly baby.
Leg or breast?
Leg or breast? I'm a leg man. I'm a leg man. Always have been. Always will be. Will I bite the head off?
That doesn't surprise me somehow.
But they weren't called jelly babies. First of all,
What were they called?
unclaimed babies.
Oh, no, that's awful.
gross.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Oh,
But you've got to think, at the time, unclaimed babies were a thing.
Well, they certainly
yeah,
were.
but it doesn't mean you can eat them.
Yeah.
We don't know that wasn't a thing,
That
Sarah.
unclaimed babies were a thing just makes it all the more tasteless.
I suppose. Well, tasty. There was raspberry, orange, lemon. But yeah, well, at the time, it was just like part of your life. You'd pop out and then walk past your church, and there would be a couple of babies there. Take one back. It's a bit like when you go to Lidl and you come back with, a diesel generator because you didn't need one. It was in the middle aisle.
The unclaimed babies in the middle of
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to the grocery. So that's what they were called, and they were called that all the way up to World War One, which wasn't known as World War One at the time. It was just known as World War,
Great War.
the Great War. And then at the end, they were renamed Peace Babies, just as a celebration. And also Victory Babies. They stopped during World War II because of shortage of supplies, like many sort of confectionery and sweets. And they didn't start up again until 1954, and at which point they were branded Jelly Babies.
That's the name that works best for me.
I think
I
so.
have to say.
It's the least offensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They've had different names and different owners and manufacturers. The one I've got brought with me at the moment is Maynard's. They've also been owned by Fry's and
Roundtrees do it.
Roundtrees. Yeah, but I think they're all owned by the same company now. I think Cadbury's pretty much owns
So
all
can
of them.
anybody make a jelly baby, or is there some sort of copyright?
Are you going to have a go?
Well, no, I don't think so. But I'm just wondering, will I be sued if I do?
I've seen lots of other companies making jelly babies. There's always some slight difference in the spelling or something. They might be called jelly tots or something like that.
No, but that's a different thing. That's a little drop covered
That
in
is
sugar.
true. That is true, actually, when I say a
I like
jelly
jelly
tot.
tots, actually.
So jelly babies are covered in something. A lot of people think that that's sugar, but it's not. It's starch. Cocaine? It may well be.
That explains their popularity, doesn't
I
it?
went through the packet.
Anybody want to sniff a jelly baby?
It's starch, so they come out of their moulds easier.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I'd always assumed it was a sort of icing sugar or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got that kind of cornstarchy kind of
Yeah.
texture to it, hasn't it?
In 1991, each different coloured jelly baby was given a name. Do you want to guess what their names are? They all begin with a B, by the way.
B.
Bobby?
Billy.
Bert?
Bertha.
Beth? Come on.
Here we
let's have
go.
our misery.
Sorry, well, my iPad is slow. Brilliant, Bubbles,
Brilliant's
Baby
not a
Bonnie. I know it's weird, isn't it?
Are we
Big
meant to have guessed
Bumper.
these?
I know.
Big Heart.
It gave me some time to open up my iPad.
Did you say Big Heart? Big Heart, like Braveheart, but a jelly
Oh,
baby.
yeah, Big Heart.
Did he have is he a tartan jelly baby?
With a
No.
blue
I
painted
think that one
face.
was the raspberry one. It was the different colours. So some famous people who like jelly babies. George Harrison. During the Beatles concerts, they would throw jelly babies at them.
Aww.
Do you think it was on his rider? He had to have jelly babies in the dressing room.
I don't know.
I bet loads of people have that on their riders, don't they?
Yeah,
jelly
M&Ms.
babies?
Yeah. I bet they're popular.
He'd just want the heads.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Doctor Who.
Which Doctor
The
Tom Baker?
Tom Baker one.
Yeah, I can see Tom Baker. In fact, I remember Tom Baker eating jelly babies.
Yeah. That was his thing. Basil Brush.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Yeah. And Johnny English always has jelly babies with him, but they're not actually jelly babies; they're explosives.
Oh, right. He's the Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
Gelignite babies.
Exactly that. It's jelly.
Okay. Can I tell you a story about jelly babies?
Yeah.
It's not very interesting, but let me tell you anyway.
Well, that's on brand.
When I used to be, when I was going, thank you very much. When I was going through my my middle-aged man in lycra phase and cycling a lot, which
I love you've accepted you've come through that now.
Well, I haven't been on my bike for a while. That's why I say that. But anyway, I was cycling around,
Mammal.
and I did some quite long distance rides.
Oh.
And one of the things you
Yeah,
use,
long for days.
Well, you know,
Go on, let's
100 miles, that sort of thing.
100 metres.
Wow, really?
Yeah, not in a day. Actually, more like probably the most I did in a day was about 70 miles.
That's a lot.
Well, it's not if you're a Tour de France rider, but for me it was a lot.
That's
Yeah, but
good
you're
going.
not.
No,
Sorry.
I'm not. I never will be.
That's good going, Dave.
But anyway, the point of this story, which I'm going to try and get to now, if you stop interrupting me, is that jelly babies are seem to be a great form of sort of almost instant energy. So you'd carry a pack of jelly babies in your saddlebag, and when you were flagging a bit after 56 miles or whatever, you could pop a couple of them in, and they pick you up. I mean, it's a sugar rush, isn't it? I'm sure it's.
Well, quite often, if you've ever ran a marathon or a half marathon, you have people at the side giving you jelly babies.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's quite a common thing.
And I know my daughter's netball team. They give them out in the breaks in the netball match.
Yeah.
Everybody has a jelly baby, and so it seems to be quite an accepted thing in sporting circles.
Yeah, yeah, it's a thing. And it's not always the organisers who give them. It's like spectators will have them as a sort of they'll have
you
a
go.
bag of
Yeah, I
No,
did a half marathon actually. There were people with like boxes of Quality Street and stuff, and then people
Quality
hosing you
Street?
down. Yeah, I know.
The thing to do would be to do the half marathon dressed as a jelly baby.
Well, that would have.
I think I
definitely
probably looked like a jelly baby, to be fair, but especially by the end.
The football team Lincoln City attribute one of their wins against Barnet to jelly babies.
Oh, do they?
What was that?
Yeah.
They're on the reserve bench.
Did they bring on a jelly baby from the bench?
No,
Yeah.
so they were waiting for the coach to go down to Barnet. Now, the Lincoln to Barnet is basically North London, right? The coach didn't show up, so they all had to go down sort of separately, drive themselves down there. And consequently, they didn't have all the paraphernalia they'd normally go down, which is usually like one of those like magnetic whiteboards where they put the discs on where who's playing where and all of that.
I've seen Ted Lasso. I know what you mean.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We're all experts.
Yeah.
Exactly that. But what they did have was a packet of jelly babies, and there's a photo of them with like on a piece of cardboard with the jelly babies representing the different players. Now, bearing in mind that Lincoln City were sort of languishing towards the bottom at the time, and Barnet City were top of the table, they played Barnet City at their home ground and thrashed them 2-1.
And they put it down to the jelly baby.
They put it down to the jelly babies, and the manager said, "I'm not ruling out using jelly babies again," as if it was a real sort of controversial thing, as if he's like making waves on the football circuit.
Yeah, I know this is I'm going to get stick for this in the media, but I'm going to use jelly babies again. But so how did they try and explain how the jelly babies were more inspirational than the traditional magnets on a whiteboard?
Maybe it just translated to the players better. They could see themselves represented better.
By a jelly
As a
baby.
jelly baby.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Well, no, it's not. But it is. It's something.
It's something. That'll do. So I think Dave has a bit of a treat for us coming up now.
Yes, I'm going to resist the temptation to talk about choppers and things like that. But
you just did.
I just did,
Yeah.
yeah. So I am talking about wood chopping. And you may think, well, wood chopping, how's that a subject for discussion? But it turns out that wood chopping is quite a big thing. And let me tell you, and Deech is intrigued by this, I know. Now, I've always enjoyed chopping wood. Okay, I did it. I think I learned to do it probably in the Scouts or something like that.
Me too.
And we were, and of course, it's not really chopping wood; it's splitting wood. So we're splitting wood to make it.
Yeah, you're just chopping hairs now.
Very good.
Took him a minute.
I'm definitely cutting that out. So
It's good.
So it's splitting wood, and as I say, I learned to do it as a teenager in the Scouts, and I've always done it. I've always enjoyed doing it, and it's one of those things you sort of do it. kind of whether you need to or not. Because let's face it,
Well, even if you haven't got a fire.
well, well, yes, potentially. But I mean, I have got a fire, but I don't need the fire. We've got a perfectly good central heating system which heats the house perfectly well.
I know
that's
what I
not
know
the
what
same
you're
as a
getting at,
fire.
Dave.
It's
I
not
know-
the same. No, it's not the same at all.
No,
but
I know what you're getting.
But we also have an open fire, and we probably light the open fire 6-7 times a year. You know, it's really that
I
infrequent.
have mine on every day.
Yeah, we don't, you see, because we just don't. You know, the house is lovely and warm without it. So, but sometimes it's really nice to do it, and so therefore I have an excuse to split wood with my axe. And
You've
so
got a splitting axe.
I have a splitting axe. I have a felling axe. I have, you know, so there's different. And I discovered that there's a thing, and I'd never quite realised this. I only discovered this when I was researching this subject a day or two ago. That a maul, there's a thing called a splitting maul, which is different from a splitting axe, and it has, and a maul is all, and a maul can also be a sledgehammer, so you know, big sort of heavy weight on the end of a long handle. But a splitting maul actually looks a bit like an axe, except it's blunter and it goes wider more quickly.
Yes.
So that as it goes into the wood, it splits the wood apart.
Yes.
And it's known as a splitting maul. And I, you know, so I learnt something. I do not have one of those. I have an ordinary kind of felling axe, but that does.
Is there a
the job.
difference in task to the maul to the splitting axe? I have a Fisker's 27.
Really? That sounds fascinating.
Oh, it's bloody brilliant.
I've got a Granfus Brooks.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
right. We're really getting into the technical
Yeah.
stuff now.
Can you
Well, look,
swing it over your head?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And but what? So I was doing a bit of research into this, and I thought, well, there's going to be some videos on YouTube about how to split wood, and of course there are hundreds, many videos on there. But I accidentally discovered that there's a whole subsection of women splitting wood,
Oh, yeah.
and on TikTok it's huge. There are loads, hundreds and hundreds of videos of women splitting wood.
Are they big-breasted by any chance?
No,
is it a very
no.
an adult
It's
only?
not. It's not. No, not
site?
at all.
It's subtle.
Not at all.
It's subtle.
No. Well, okay. I mean, whatever turns
Working
you
for
on.
Dave.
But
Working
it's
for me,
not.
just thinking about
no, it's not overtly sexual. It's
No.
just sort of women who enjoy physical labour splitting wood. One of them was in a slightly frilly dress, I have to admit. But that was
frilly
only,
dress?
Yeah. There was one splitting wood in a frilly dress, but she was an exception. Most of them are
Every time you
just-
watched it.
Yeah, absolutely. The viewing count has gone shot up in the
Do you
last
know,
2 days.
Dave, you very cleverly picked the topics for this thing. I've done bloody jelly babies, and so my YouTube videos was the screaming baby experiment, which is if you put a jelly baby in, I think it's potassium chloride, heat up the potassium chloride, drop a jelly baby in, it starts screaming basically. So it's quite a good like GCSE chemistry experiment because kids really like that.
Like a lobster.
You're right, Deech. I did
Well,
choose
it's not
it.
real.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't actually scream. It's amazing. but Dave's watching TikTok of
women chopping
scantily
wood.
clad Scandinavian women.
They are, many of them were not scantily clad. Many of them were fully clad.
So you flick through past those
Yeah.
quickly.
But I
Swipe
didn't
left.
know, to be fair to me, when I started researching this, I had no idea this was a whole subsection.
No.
But I was just absolutely fascinated by the
So
fact that there are so many videos of women chopping wood. And but let me get back to chopping now, as opposed to women chopping, anybody chopping, because what's quite interesting is that some quite famous people were into wood chopping. So there was an ecologist called John Stuart Collis who said, "All good men love an axe." That was his thing.
Yeah, I'm with John. Yeah, I'm
but,
with John.
But Leo Tolstoy, who
Oh.
a fellow writer, Sarah, said that he regarded axe work as a religious discipline.
Well, he was very into agriculture and working the land and the whole
Right.
kind of-
And it has to be said that when you're chopping wood, it is very sort of therapeutic.
Flipping out, I feel so manly. When I chop wood, I go out on a Sunday morning. It's my Sunday morning task. I go out with my axe, give it a bit of a sharpen, and I start.
Put your frilly dress on.
I wear my rugged trousers, my boots, and then I'm swinging that axe over my head. I feel so great.
Do you have a chopping outfit that you always wear?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It's very lumberjack based.
Very-
It's
yeah,
very
of course.
very checked based.
Well, exactly. And then, of course,
Yeah.
Monty Python blew up the whole lumberjack thing many years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
But there is now something called a lumbersexual. So we had metrosexual.
Right.
Now, because chopping wood has become such a big thing, there are now lumbersexuals
Right.
who are
They
men
get it on with-
who they're he-men who dress for chopping wood.
Right.
All sounds a bit kinky.
It does, doesn't it? Sounds weird. But just quickly on the health front, apart from they reckon it's very good for you psychologically to chop wood, but also it's very, very good cardiovascular fitness. It's good for your abs and your glutes and your back muscles and your
Yeah.
triceps. And they say little and often is the best way to chop wood.
To chop wood.
Before I finish this section, I also, it's worth saying that lockdown apparently was very good for wood chopping. So a lot of people took up wood chopping during COVID, during lockdown, because, and in fact, I found an article in the Sydney Morning Herald, of all places, about, my lockdown chopping journey. But don't worry, it was behind a paywall, so I didn't read it.
Okay.
Sarah, you're going to talk to us now about your cupboard under the stairs.
Yeah, we've all got one, haven't we? Well, most of us.
Yeah, I
Unless
have.
you live in a bungalow.
Unless you live in a bag. This is true. Mine is. I cleared it out about 2 years ago. Thought I'd got rid of all the crap, and every time I go in it, I get kind of bopped on the head by a mop handle, or the ironing board falls on me, and it's just chaos in there. And I thought,
Yeah, it's like a bad episode of Ninja Warrior, isn't it?
I know. And I know every time I get the Hoover out, I should just do it properly rather than just yank it out, because then it pulls down the step ladder and everything. Oh, it's just really, it puts me off hoovering. I mean,
It
reasons.
starts
that's
things
your
off.
excuse.
It starts things off badly, doesn't it?
I don't want to
I
go in
get
there
that.
and get
I get
attacked
that.
by my household
Yeah, by Henry.
appliances. Yeah, exactly. So I thought I'd have a look in my cupboard and see what exactly is in there. And I've just written down a list of some of the things.
You've itemised your cupboard.
I
I like it.
You've done a stock check.
I've done a stock check. This is just the stuff I could reach.
Okay.
And bearing in mind, this cupboard is not massive. It's not like, Harry Potter's cupboard that he lived in what was it? In the Dursleys' house. So I found a window vacuum.
A window vacuum? What's
Oh,
that?
to suck up the moisture
Yeah.
of your
Yeah.
window
So you turn it on, it goes down the window, and it
when you have
Yeah.
a damp house.
it vacuums away the
you're-
condensation.
If your house
It's
is
brilliant.
if your house is
Honestly,
moist.
it's so satisfying. So that's near the front, so I can access that easily because I like that.
Yeah.
And it also comes with like a squeegee thing. Anyway, there's an extension lead, of course. We've all got one of those. An empty piano accordion case.
An empty piano accordion case?
Yep.
Okay. And
Yep.
do you know where the piano accordion is?
Possibly. I've got 2 buckets because obviously one's not enough.
one inside the other.
No, because they're different shapes.
Oh,
Yeah. A
Painful.
dog bed.
Okay.
1 running shoe. 1 walking boot.
right.
2 mops.
Do you wear those at the same time?
Yeah. So I can change. Run 1 step, walk another.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you get fed up of running, you can start walking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
2 mops.
2 mops, but
Of the
one
ones
shoe.
I could reach, I found 17 shopping bags.
17.
You
Yeah.
know, the
Bags for life?
bags,
Or-
really, really, really. Tin of dried paint and a whole box of dried up paint brushes. Leftover bits of my kitchen. So when I had a new IKEA kitchen, there were a few bits left over.
spares you thought you might need.
Yeah. You
like-
can't bear to throw them away, can you?
Yeah.
So they're all under the cupboard. You could probably make another kitchen out of them.
Right.
A feather duster.
Kinky.
3 plastic camping plates.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Yeah.
they've got to go somewhere.
How often do you go camping?
I hate camping.
That's why they're under the stairs.
Yeah. Bag of cactus compost.
Oh, cactus compost. And
yes.
do you have cacti? Is that the plural?
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Well,
Who
you
knows?
don't know if you have cacti.
I think I have got one actually. Yeah.
Right. I'm just wondering why you would have bought a bag of
I don't
cactus
know.
compost.
You're asking me very complicated questions about my cupboard.
Hardly that complicated, but no. You
You have a
carry on.
look in that
You carry on.
cupboard.
You carry on.
Okay, there is an iron, underused, obviously. There's a blue IKEA bag because
Yes.
Oh, those big-
everybody's got one of those.
Which you're not
There's-
supposed to take from the store, are you? Although you can
No,
buy
you
them.
can buy them.
You can
No,
buy
that's
them.
the yellow ones you can't take.
Oh, is it? Okay.
There's a cool box with no lid.
It's
when you say
it's a tepid box.
yeah, no, she means it's really cool, that box.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
No, it's an ice box.
Oh, it's an ice box.
There's a really violent ironing board that is the thing that attacks me.
Oh, the one that attacks
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Or a ladder. And a camcorder from, I think, probably about 2003, and a load of discs or whatever it is that went in it, which has probably got my children's...
Probably tapes in those days.
Yeah, so that.
Okay.
Some things random charging leads from things I've cameras or whatever, and I don't want to throw them away because I'm not quite sure. It's getting
you're
hard
too scared
here
to throw them
my
away. There we
writing
go.
was getting quite...
let me look for you.
Can you read that?
Human head.
Head.
Bag of asbestos. Yeah.
Sulfuric acid.
Yeah.
The books that never got published.
Fingertips of an opposing pianist you're envious of.
Yeah. God, do you want to get in and clear that cupboard? So there's a whole basket of crochet I've never finished, Hoover implements, and my splitting axe.
Oh, you got a splitting axe.
And the splitting axe I found with a lovely leather thing on it. It was bought.
It's got its own little gimp outfit.
It was bought for me by an ex-boyfriend who was a wood man. He used to
tell you something.
His present to you was a splitting axe.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can see why he's an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He nearly had it rammed in his head a few weeks later, but we won't go into that.
What was the subliminal message there when he was giving you? Was he just saying, "Will you chop some effing wood, please"?
Well, he used to get cross because I'd buy kindling. Why are you buying bloody kindling? It's just right. So he bought me a splitting axe, showed me how to make kindling.
Yeah, I think buying kindling is
never bought kindling. We don't need it. We've got a lot of trees around our house, so we have all the kindling and twigs we need.
But I mean, the point is, you can make your own kindling with the splitting axe.
Can we get back onto my cupboard, please?
You've
had your turn.
Sorry.
The understairs cupboard is like the drawer, isn't it? That's full of old batteries.
Oh yeah, the junk drawer. I'm very
random...
impressed how much you've got in that cupboard. I mean, because you said it was a small cupboard.
Yeah, and that's just the stuff I could reach or see with the torch on my phone.
So what's the thing with a piano accordion? Are you a piano accordionist?
I have a piano accordion.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere. Yeah, I'm not very good at it. It's my comedy instrument.
You play it in a band?
I play it sometimes in the Stroud Red Band.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Stroud Red
the
Band.
Stroud Red Band
There's
that
only one of
turns
them.
up to protest at anything, really.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's fun, my accordion, but it's quite hard. It's very heavy.
What was the last things you guys protested at?
Well, I haven't done it for a while because I've been so busy.
Weren't you protesting outside that comedy club when that really dodgy comic
because
was
the
on?
axe shop was shut.
Yeah, that's right. So you went and played your piano accordion so loud he couldn't carry on.
The controversial comedian.
That's right. He was controversial because he wouldn't rule out using jelly babies in his act. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Dollman's podcast. I've been Dave Harries, and with me has been...
Sarah Steele.
And...
Demitris Deech.
Oh, fantastic. So coming up in the next episode, I believe, Deech, you're going to be talking about...
Zips.
Fastening zips.
Correct.
Fantastic. I can't wait for that. And Sarah, what are you going to talk to us about in the next episode?
Walking on the pavement.
Walking on the pavement.
Well,
what else would you do?
Well, yeah, but the politics of walking on the pavement.
Oh, right. Which way do you go when the sun comes the other way, all that sort of thing. And I'm going to be talking about raised beds, and I'm talking about the beds in a garden.
Not bunk beds.
Not bunk beds, yeah. So that's all in the next episode of the Dollman's podcast. Thank you very much for listening. And tell your friends, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. You can find us in all the usual places. And we'll see you next time for another Dollman's podcast.
There we go.
That was Deech trying to remember the
I'm not sure if I preferred him shuffling his papers in the past, or whether the slow iPad is an improvement.
It's quite painful to watch, isn't it?
Yeah. What happens if I press this button?